We don't want this as African people anymore. We are tired of seeing African migrants moving all over the world, refusing to fix your own countries. Now we're making it very clear to you guys, Utitina, we don't want you here.
Xenophobia in the big 2026. Anyways, hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Nere, if you don't already know. Before we get into the video, don't forget you gotta like, subscribe, comment, you know, share it to a friend or whatever. But yeah, that's it. So let's just get straight into it because there's a lot to say.
Headshot, 2, 2, 3.
Flawless victory.
Let me take her to the back, she wanna look at me. Headshot, 2, 2, 3. Bear rock, movie scene. Baby, let's turn up in this party. What's a wedding ring? My same haters in the...
So recently a video has surfaced on like TikTok, Instagram, on social media of this activist, quote unquote, I don't know if that's really a word to describe her, and a group of other South Africans just harassing this Ghanaian, from my knowledge, who is living in South Africa, and she insinuates that he's there as a visitor but he's living there, and that's part of her frustration. She's part of just a movement that's been going on in South Africa, which is really just against immigrants, but specifically African immigrants coming into the country and taking away opportunities. I think the name is Operation Dudula. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but... And then this whole thing coming up brought all of our attention, for those of us who didn't know what was going on in South Africa, to this movement and this like kind of way of thinking. They brought our attention to things such as literally armed mobs going around attacking people who they don't even like check, obviously. Like, they're just like, okay, you don't look South African, then they can beat you for that. Like shop owners and stuff like that. They're just targeting non-South African Africans who are in South Africa currently.
As rumors spread that a mob was moving through Johannesburg's CBD, inflicting violence against foreign shop owners, immigrants frantically closed their shops on President Street.
I employ South Africans, more than 20 people working under me. I'm a designer. I don't know why they don't want we foreigners. If they don't want we foreigners, they mustn't allow us to enter. They forget 94 what happened. They asked us to come.
And also there is a push to move people that are non-South Africans or non-South Africans who are using the South African medical system or in the hospitals, including mothers, people who are coming to give birth or about to be mothers, removing them from the hospital if they can't produce their papers like that they're South African, they're like true South Africans. And me personally, when I heard that, I said, hey, like, it's a hospital. Like, if you go to any country and you get sick, you have the right to go to the hospital. That's why the hospital is there. It's not just there for the people that live there, it's for everyone. But you can also understand the frustration if you're not getting the resources that you should be getting as like maybe a taxpayer or as a citizen of a country, and other people are getting those resources. Everyone's anger comes from somewhere, but the way we go about it is very important. Anyways, that was just a summary of kind of what's going on. If you don't know, just Google South Africa. I'm sure it will pop up for you. Let's get into, first of all, the history of xenophobia just within the African continent, because this is not something that's just happening in South Africa. This is something that happened, reoccurred through history, and so we can't pretend that this is the first time we're seeing this happen. So let's start off with Ghana, because as a Ghanaian, a lot of us are kind of like, okay, why are you guys doing all of this? You're doing too much. Like, it's not fair to us. Like, guys, I don't know, my accent changes back and forth, but you're just gonna have to deal with it because that's how my accent works. But like, a lot of Ghanaians are upset because it was a Ghanaian that was in the video that surfaced. But not to excuse it, but to bring back us into like a little history lesson. In 1969, Ghana expelled a bunch of Nigerians because so many Nigerians were coming into Ghana for... We just had so many opportunities. So many Nigerians were coming into Ghana. You know, our economy was doing well and everything, that the number of Nigerian migrants tripled in 30 years. More than tripled, actually. More than tripled. And so Ghanaians were kind of like, oh, they're taking my jobs, like this is not fair to us. So social pressure, and then the government was looking at the economic analysis, and they were like, nah, the Nigerians, we for sack them. So they kicked the Nigerians out. Well, they were kicking just migrant workers out, but the majority of these migrant workers were Nigerians, and they were forced to leave Ghana and go back to Nigeria or whatever country they were coming from, which obviously it's not easy. If you're getting stuff from a country, you are living there, your children are schooling there, you're working there, it's not easy. That's your money, that's your livelihood. So obviously this would be very disruptive to the migrant workers working, but then again, the Ghanaians needed their jobs. But that's one case. But Nigeria, you're not safe. You already know you're not safe, because we have our beautiful Ghana must go. And no, I'm not talking about the bags, but this is where the bags came from. In the 1980s, in the 80s, y'all, when they were wearing bell bottoms or whatever. Nigeria's economy was doing so well. I think it was because of oil, you know, those things. So many people were coming to Nigeria, you know, for opportunities. Nigeria's economy was doing well. They're like, yeah, come, let's all make money. Then the economy started to and they said, go home.
Cynthia Ofori. Go.
So they said, Ghana, I can't lie, you guys must go. And it also stemmed from like just mismanagement of the economy doing well. And they said those people that you don't have your documents, your time is up, time to go. So around 2 million people, guys, 2 million people were forced to leave Nigeria. But I know 2 million people for Nigeria is a big country, so I guess, but that's a lot of people. And all those people had to leave their jobs, come back to Ghana, find new jobs, travel, transport, all those things. So it's never easy. Like, country wants you to come and work, and they want you to boost their economy, but then when things go south, then they start blaming you and they tell you to leave. And you're like, oh, I thought we were all cool, I thought we were friends. No, not anymore. So those are instances in history. Obviously, every single instance is a little bit different. There's nuances. I'm not going to talk about all of that because this is not an economics lesson, but just so you know, this is not what's happening in South Africa now. It's not something that's only a South African problem. It's a everyone and all of us problem. We can use those instances to kind of work our minds through this situation. But anyways, now that we've done this, let's talk about why we're focused on the wrong thing, per usual.
Operation Dudula is an anti-migrant populist movement that was founded in 2021 to fight crime and drug trafficking in South Africa's Soweto township. Similar movements have now sprouted across the nation. Initially, the group was focused on banishing African migrants from government-funded hospitals as well as their children from government-funded schools. The same year that Operation Dudula started expelling foreign African nationals for taking resources away from South Africans, the Minister of Health at the time, William Kize, who is South African, was put on special leave as his department had been caught up in numerous corruption allegations. One of the allegations was that in 1 year, his department siphoned 280 million rand worth of taxpayer money. In March of this year, the Department of Health's Director General was suspended on charges of fraud and theft. On Monday, the country's Special Investigation Unit revealed a 54 million rand tender scandal involving a South African businessman and Eskom. A former CEO of Eskom, which is South Africa's state-owned electricity company, revealed that the blatant corruption within the company costs taxpayers, on average, 1 billion rand a month.
Right now, South Africans are upset because you're living in a country, you should be expecting certain things from, your government providing for you. You want jobs, you want good healthcare, you want good education. So when the government is not giving you such, you go vex, right? Normally. However, I don't think that blaming the people who came in and are honestly not that big. These people are not coming and doing that much in your economy. Like, from what I've seen when I was looking over it, a lot of the people coming from other African countries, they are selling some small phones. They are doing this, they are doing that. They are making pocket change. They are not making something that's going to like take all the jobs, Like, they're not owning your companies and those things as much. Don't come in now, nitpicking me and tell me 1-2 companies that exist, because let's just look at it like in a general. These people are not really doing too much. There's always going to be multinational companies in a country. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the migrant workers that are coming in on visitors and maybe overstaying their visit, right? These people are not doing that much. What needs to be focused on, as anywhere in the world if you go to, is the corrupt leaders.
Tell me one good reason as a Nigerian I would leave my country if my country leaders are actually functioning properly. There are good, well-paid job opportunities. There are good quality healthcare services in my country. I will leave Nigeria and go to South Africa to do what?
I don't care if I sound like a broken record. It's the corrupt leaders. I was really looking into it because I was like, okay, they said that the issues with like the hospitals, right? And they want to sack everyone that's not South African from the hospital, which is crazy work. I'm sorry, y'all. That's not. But anyways, and then come to find out, the president has literally suspended the national police chief, not district, not not some small towns. No, the national police chief, because he was charged with breaking finance laws. Basically, to give you the rundown, the guy gave a contract to some medical company. I don't know if he's the CEO or what, but the businessman that runs it, he has ties with a criminal operation, and it was a 21 million, not rand, not naira, not cedis, $21 million contract. And so they gave that to the businessman who was suspected, alleged, before they come to me, alleged ties to criminal operations. And the businessman took 3 million. He earned 3 million from that before the contract was shut down. When things like that are happening, and we already know that's not the only thing that's happening, should we be focused on the small person that's probably struggling just to survive as they are? Or we should be focused on the people chopping the money? Food for thought. And also, South Africa has so many issues with the white South Africans that are very, very interesting. Most African countries have a lot of immigrants from European countries. You know, we're not calling them expats anymore. They're just immigrants as well. Should we call them Euro migrants? Migrants. I'm sorry, guys. Please don't cancel me. Anyways, so we have so many immigrants from European countries, you know, running away from their countries to Africa to make it in life. I'm sorry, guys. But we have so many of those cases in other countries, in Ghana, and, you know, that's a whole nother topic and a whole nother video. But South Africa has all white towns. Now, we already know about apartheid. If you don't know about apartheid in 2026, I beg, go and read book, okay? Don't watch my videos. Go and read book. Actually, watch my videos and then go and read book. So apartheid ended, you know, Nelson Mandela, everything. But we still have all white towns. Some places you go in South Africa, all you see is... But we're worried about your brothers and sisters from the same continent.
Listen, let's get down to the point. Your problem is that you really don't even want to be black.
It's a little suspicious when we see you beating other Africans, but you won't go and beat them. They literally have all white towns, but you won't go and beat them.
Why is your anger directed to black foreigners? Because it is more confusing. It's even more confusing because South Africa is a home. It's still a home for white foreigners. Because tell me why you will have white foreigners in your place, in your home, and you say that the foreigners are the ones that are responsible for crime, that are responsible for drug trafficking, that are responsible for immoral behaviors in your country. But you don't have the guts. You don't have the audacity. Why don't you have the audacity? Why don't you have the guts to go and meet these white foreigners and tell them that they should pack their bags and go? They should get their belongings and go back to their place. Why don't you have the audacity? But you have the audacity to go to your same African brother, African sister. You have the audacity to meet them because you know they are vulnerable. You know that even if you do anything, nothing will happen. Even if you shake the table, it will not happen. But you said it's the foreigners. That is the foreigners that are bringing all these crimes to your country. Why don't you chase the whites? Tell me a country that white people dominate 65% of their land, and tell the landowners that they don't want to associate with them and they don't want you people to associate with them.
We are the problem. And then, I don't know, it is a little But then again, I'm not a South African, so I did my research, but obviously I've not been to South Africa. I'm speaking as a fellow African and someone that cares about us all coming together, because we really can't move forward if we don't all come together. So like I said, I'd love to hear like what the South Africans think about this and how they plan to move forward and improve their country, because I feel like South Africa has a very unique case when it comes to, yeah. Finally, I just want to give my closing thoughts, because this is honestly a think piece. I tried to give you guys a background and this kind of like some context. My personal thoughts is, I saw this actually when I was researching, and someone was talking about how South Africa advertises itself as like a vacation destination and like just a place of like, it's beautiful. I love watching South African movies because they're so good at acting. I love South African films. They're just, I think they're really beautifully done films that really represent the country well. Movies in a way are promotional. So when you have these things going out, obviously you're attracting people to your country, right? You want people to come to your country. You can't now pick and choose who is coming to your country because you're advertising it for vacations as this wonderful place to live. And when Americans come, yeah, okay. When some Swedish guy comes, yeah, okay. But when a Ghanaian comes, it's a problem. There's a lot of complexity to it, but I think it's just very interesting. I feel like it's very similar to what happens in the US, because the US loves to present itself, you know, the land of opportunities. Come here, come to America, and you can get rich, right? But when you come, then they say go home. So why are you advertising yourself if you don't want people to come? But I do agree with the point, even though I don't agree with the entirety of it. I do agree with the point that as Africans, we need to stop running away from our issues and address what's going on at home. Even in your own home, address that one. But I think that we don't really like to call it out sometimes. Maybe it's embarrassment, you know. Already Africa is seen in a negative light a lot of the time, so we try and show it as a positive light, but it doesn't mean that we have to ignore the issues that are going on. So it's really important for us to address it, whether we are there or not there. Because I'm not in Ghana right now, but I can still sit down and talk about an issue that's going on and affects Ghanaians. And then, but I feel like dividing ourselves, especially dividing Africa, like dividing ourselves as Africans, it doesn't help us move forward. Because even though we all have our individual problems, a lot of these problems are all tied together. And a lot of these problems are the same. So if we solve our problem of corruption in Ghana, someone in Nigeria can use some of what we did to solve the issue of corruption in Nigeria and solve the issue of corruption in, let's say, Ethiopia. Like, these issues are all tied together, and most of these issues are being caused by the same three people or countries. Me, I have beef with France. But anyways, like, these issues are all things that we can work together to solve, and they don't want us to work together to solve because obviously we know they assassinate everyone that tries to solve them. At the end of the day, it's nice. But at the end of this video, let's all hold hands, kumbaya and everything, and figure out how we can move together as a continent. Because if we all just, you know, become besties, we can make a lot of money and we can do a lot of amazing things. But anyways, that's just my yapping session for the week. I hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share it to a friend, and watch the video again so I get more views. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I hope you liked it. I hope I get less hate comments than the last video. But I just thought this was an interesting topic, and I tried to do as much research, but obviously I'm just one person, so I may have missed something, I may have misspoke. So I always love to learn more. All love to my South Africans. I love you guys. Uncle Waffles, I love you. All love to Nigerians, I guess. All love to everyone. Bye-bye.